The NFL season is right around the corner, and our preseason content continues. And today, we're going to break down the main slate on Yahoo. You heard me correct. We're looking at Yahoo. We're going to give a full cash lineup, and it's coming up next. Hello, everyone. I'm Eric Lee.
And I'm Michael Wiley, and we're the Fantasy Football Consultants.
Michael, we are expanding our preseason coverage to actually include Yahoo. If you want to look at all the shows that we've been doing in the preseason, I'll put them up on the screen now. All those shows are available right now in the description, so please check them out after you watch this video. You have an opportunity to dictate what some of the content that we will do during the regular season. So be sure to let us know if you enjoy this content.
And also, if you would do us a favor, please hit that like button, share this video with your friends, and if you haven't yet, hit that red subscribe button. Eric, let's go in the studio and see what we have for today.
All right, let's break down this slate.
You know, one of the things we find, sorry to jump in here right away with Yahoo, which I'm new to, I'm not sure how much you've seen their DFS pricing, is there are some really nice bargains to be had, kind of all throughout, at least what I noticed, especially on the wide receiver and tight end front.
Yeah, and I guess I would like to see, if you're not familiar with Yahoo, folks, the scoring system is identical to FanDuel. Half PPR, no milestone scoring. But of course, the pricing is different. And I'm not comfortable at the start to pay up for a Henry or a Taylor or a McCaffrey. So I'm going to look for bargains. And I see a lot down here in the low 20s.
Yeah, it's amazing to see some of these names are half the price of some of those guys at the top, right? And so I know we've talked a little bit about Aaron Jones. You see Zeke Elliott there, although Tampa Bay's defense is really tough on running backs. Connor, I think, is also tempting. So I say let's spend a few bucks here on Aaron Jones. $22 versus the 40 seems like a nice bargain. What do you think?
Yeah, we've talked about it all week about the fact that somebody is going to pick up the slack for all those targets that went to Davante Adams. And I think partially it's going to be Aaron Jones. He's going to be a beneficiary. I do not think a guy like Alan Lazard is going to be able to just completely pick up that same slack. So Aaron Jones last year, Michael, did really well in games that Adams missed. So there you go. And I also like James Conner. I just hope that the game script doesn't get away from him. But the reality is Chase Edmonds is gone. DeAndre Hopkins is suspended. And Christian Kirk is gone. So they're going to have to rely on him in the run game and the pass game.
Yeah, $21, really. Again, the savings there is quite nice. He's the bell cow back here. And as you say, the game script is for this to be a high-scoring game. And he's going to have to be involved if Arizona is going to try and keep pace with Kansas City.
Isn't it amazing how Arizona uses him literally at the goal line so much on the 1 yard line? So and on Yahoo, like FanDuel, getting touchdowns is valuable for a running back. So the one other running back that I just want to point out is this. When you scroll down here, there's two guys that are $18. We can come back to see if we want to get them. I mean, Antonio Gibson, unfortunately, there was a terrible event with their rookie Johnson with the shooting. He's not going to be available on the Washington Commanders. So it's back to Antonio Gibson and J.D. McKissick. Here's the deal with Antonio Gibson that's been a long-term thing. As long as Washington stays ahead and is expected to win, and if you think that's the case at home against Jacksonville, I think Gibson will be heavily involved in this game plan.
Yeah, I agree completely. It's just a nice price. You know, I don't like it anywhere near as much as Jones or Connor, and so the savings would have to be meaningful. So I like where we're starting at this point.
So usually most DFS players have a positive or negative opinion of Saquon Barkley. Where do you stand in that spectrum? Would you, if you were going to spend $18, would you grab him or did you like Gibson more?
Yeah, well, having drafted him for my fantasy teams twice in the last several years, he's on my not my wish list. I'll just say it like that.
Okay, well said.
But
Uh,
but I guess that's because I've always got him in the first or second round, right? When the
yeah.
where the pricing was high. So this is tempting, but Tennessee, New York Giants are gonna have to be coming from behind, so I'm not so sure.
But he'll get involved in the passing game some.
That's true. That's true.
If I scroll down at only $11 dollars, I thought he was $11. Yeah, at $12 is Mike Davis. Just stay on top of the news. Gus Edwards is definitely out, and J.K. Dobbins is bouncing between questionable and doubtful. The only concern I have is they just picked up Kenyon Drake, Michael, and how much will he be involved in the game plan? So watch that. If it finds out that you feel like Mike Davis is going to play a big role, you save $9 off James Conner in a very favorable matchup against the New York Jets.
Agreed.
Let's go to wide receiver. All right, so we see the big boys up there. Jefferson, Chase, Evans, Adams is so used to seeing Devontae Adams as the most expensive wide receiver, especially when Cooper Kupp is not on the listing. But granted, he's on a new team, Las Vegas. What do you think about Adams' pricing?
Yeah, it's too early to say. I think what I've understood from the practices and preseason, the Raiders have looked great. Their offense has been kind of unstoppable. New England even admitted as much because of the joint practices that they had. But in preseason games, they've been resting their starters like most teams. So we haven't even seen, what that looks like. We're relying on practice reports. So it's way too early to tell to pay that much for somebody. And I always kind of feel like that with wide receivers early on in the season.
Okay. So when we scroll down here, see a bunch of guys here in the low 20s I think are interesting. I'm a big fan of Michael Pittman as being the only key wide receiver that the Colts have in a game that the Colts should roll up the points. They scored 31 points against Houston twice last year. So that's an option I'd be okay with. I also like Brandon Cooks coming back the other way. But there's someone I like more at the same price, Deontay Johnson. I know we're both fanboys of Deontay Johnson. Tell us about him.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit. That is it a downgrade to go from Roethlisberger, to the new guy, right? And I'm not sure that it is a downgrade. I think it might be an upgrade. Now, Deontay Johnson was really Ben Roethlisberger's comfort spot. And so, there is some change there, but Juju Smith-Schuster is gone. I'm kind of surprised to see him priced so much lower than some of those guys, given that he gets the ball a ton. Yeah, this is a half PPR as opposed to full PPR. Pittsburgh may not get in the end zone a whole lot, but Deontay Johnson's going to get, I think, 6 to 8 catches at a minimum. So he's got a really nice floor.
All right. So in addition to Deontay Johnson, gosh, there's the aforementioned Juju Smith-Schuster now on Kansas City. Not clear what his role is, but $19 is a reasonable price, as is the number one wide receiver on Chicago, Darnell Mooney. But the guy that I am excited to get is there's multiple guys in this order. How about DJ Moore at only $18?
Yeah, and so I like this pick as well. Sam Darnold is out. Not he's I guess a little bit injured, but he's out with Baker Mayfield taking over the helm, and I think he's the guy they're tapping, which I think is a bit of an upgrade, especially going up against Cleveland, his former team.
Revenge game.
Exactly, and DJ Moore is by far the number one there, kind of similar to what you were talking about with Michael Pittman.
So I really like this. Look at this. We're getting these mid-range guys on Yahoo. They're all bell cow backs in good situations on running backs and number one wide receivers. And let's pick another number one wide receiver in a real shootout game expected. Hollywood Marquise Brown for $18. One of the reasons I like Brown so much this week is who else is left to catch passes for Kyler Murray? Christian Kirk has been traded. Chase Edmonds has been traded. DeAndre Hopkins has been suspended. So, all right, let's switch over to tight end. And we have a big decision. Do we want to pay up at tight end, maybe to the detriment of a quarterback, or do we want to see if we can pay down? Michael, I was all ready to pick up Mark Andrews, and then I realized 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 9th tight end at only $16 is Kyle Pitts. I have a question for you, Michael. What Yahoos out there made this pricing?
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, I guess there's some hating on him because he just didn't get in the end zone last year. But he gets his targets. He's basically a wide receiver. Atlanta's kind of number one guy. Andrews maybe is tempting because Jets were atrocious against tight ends last year, but I'd like to think that Robert Saleh is going to make some changes there. The price is just too cheap to pass up, Eric.
Yeah, look, sign him up. So let's take a big peek at quarterback. Go back to quarterback.
But I do want to say one more thing about our wide receivers. In every situation here, a little bit of risk we're taking. It's a different quarterback or team for all of these guys, right? Deontay Johnson has a new quarterback. DJ Moore's got a new quarterback this year. Marquise Brown's been, and Kyle Pitts with Mariota at Atlanta, right? So
yeah,
a little bit of risk there. Sorry.
No, that's good. And as far as tight end, I just want to put in a word that I am super excited about the prospects at especially only $11 of Cole Kmet, but I was able to afford the extra $5 to pay up for Kyle Pitts. But if you don't, I can feel like I can endorse. I think he's going to be the number 2 target. Justin Fields has actually looked, let me say it the correct way, not horrible in the preseason. So certainly if you want to go there, I would endorse that pick. All right, let's move back over to quarterback. Tell me a little bit about the quarterbacks, Michael. If you were going to pay up, who catches your eye given the Yahoo pricing?
Yeah, I mean, you have to scroll down a little bit to see some bargains. There's really no exciting bargains like we saw with the running back or wide receiver spot, right? To get down into the low 20s, you're really dropping off significantly. So if we can't get someone interesting down there, then let's go ahead and see if we can't get some of the top guys here. I'm shocked that Lamar Jackson's the 4th guy on the list. I might think that he should be number 1 this week, given who he's playing against and his strength with his legs. So that's who I'm drawing attention to. I know you and I talked already a little bit about that. Anyone else catching your eye in addition to Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, not at their price. I'm a big fan of Jalen Hurts, but you telling me that I can just spend $1 extra and get Lamar Jackson? I'm gonna go with Lamar Jackson. And look at this. Look at us. We reunited Lamar Jackson with Hollywood Brown. They're not on the same NFL team, but they're on our DFS team here. Very exciting.
We're so thoughtful, aren't we?
Oh, yes. So that leaves us, look at this, $51. $51. So I kind of have my eye on some of the top running backs. we'll have to slum it potentially at defense. So we can't pick the Saints, the Dolphins, or Patriots or anything like that in order to get a top running back. So I've got to page all the way down here and see, is there anyone that we can stomach at this low price? Michael, there's someone that is just jumping out at me.
How in the world are the Ravens priced at $11 down there with the Houston Texans and the Jacksonville Jaguars? There's a mistake. There's an error here. You have to take advantage of it. There's no way that Baltimore doesn't compete with some of the top guys. Easy pick. And look what you have. You have maximum dollars to get whomever you want.
So let me get this straight. Baltimore is the second highest favorite of anyone playing this week. 7-point favorite against a backup quarterback on the New York Jets, Joe Flacco. Is he allowed? I'm not sure on the NFL rules. Is he allowed to bring his cane on the field when he's playing, Michael?
Maybe there's some thought here that this is a grudge match and he's going to bring every ounce of energy he can muster to make it a little bit closer. But that doesn't mean that Baltimore still doesn't.
Yeah,
I can't. I'm so shocked.
Let's go back to flex. So we have 40 points, which means we can pay for anybody, Michael. Who do you want?
I mean, against Houston, no question, it's Taylor, right? I mean, he just racked up the yards against them last year. They haven't done much to improve. To me, this is kind of an easy pick.
Yeah, I mean, Taylor. When given the option to pick anybody in the NFL in all season-long fantasy leagues, right? Everyone is picking Jonathan Taylor. And this isn't Jonathan Taylor in just an average week. This is Jonathan Taylor playing a Houston team, a team that he absolutely torched in both of the games that he faced them last year. Huge favorite, 8 points, the biggest favorite. So this was interesting. I definitely feel, due to Yahoo pricing, this is probably a stronger lineup than we could have built on either FanDuel or DraftKings.
Agreed. I like it.
So until we see you guys in the next video in our mini videos we're doing this preseason, take care, everybody.
Be safe. Bye-bye.